All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every day by OURA Ring. I'm your host, Lance Armstrong, a very tired Lance Armstrong after the rest day. Didn't get enough rest. Sitting here with JB and pretty boy over there, George, who's apparently got some really embarrassing stuff on me today. And I've been teasing out for days this announcement that OURA is about to come out with. It's just out. So they just announced yet another partnership. They have the partnership with the NBA, the WNBA, NASCAR, and boom, today they announce a new partnership with the UFC. So as these sports roll out and try to keep everybody safe, head on over to OURAring.com. There's our flow code. Today's show also brought to you by PowerDot. This is a company I talk about all the time. I absolutely love it. Love it so much we invested in the company, full disclosure. I am officially cured. The neck is fixed.
Finally,
the neck is finally back to normal. And I'm not bullshitting y'all. I really credit the PowerDot and eStem and the tech behind it. Look at this bad boy. I mean, to fix such a big problem in such a small package is just amazing. Athletes in the tour using it, the NFL, the Major League Baseball season, PGA. Camilo, we probably need Camilo to be trying this thing out with his bad shoulder. Hey, also, money back guarantee. If you don't like it, send it back. Helps promote back up, Lance. Promotes circulation, helps muscles recover quicker. Also integrated with Apple Health and Strava. Head on over to PowerDot.com/TheMove for 20% off. The buy code / discount code there is TheMove. PowerDot.com/TheMove. All right, last one here for a sec. Today's show also brought to you by the rocket ship, Ventum. I've been loving this bike, and George has been seeing a lot of the back end of it. First and foremost, they're giving one away, folks. It's a free bike. As I used to say growing up in Plano, cheap is neat, but free is for me. Did you ever say that, George?
No.
Go on over to ventumracing.com/TheMove to register. Over a $5,000 value on this bike. Also, they're the worldwide global bike sponsor for the Ironman, which is pretty sick. ventumracing.com/TheMove. All right, so what are we doing? We're talking about stage 16. How's our man, Alain was on the ride with us yesterday. We keep threatening to get him in here to do a live one. So let's cue Alain.
Stage 16. La Tour du Pin to Villard de Lans.
La Tour du Pin to Villard de Lans. So I know there's, I'm getting a lot of criticism, and I know you apparently have some surprise for me, George. Want to throw some shade on me, which is fine, but there's a lot of criticism around the fanny pack. So we're out riding yesterday with a big group. We had a bunch of people in town, and this dude rides by us up right at the top of Deadline. It's a fun downhill, but and he does like the quadruple take at me, which is whatever, that happens. And then he says, "Hey, Lance," he's pointing, and he's wearing a fanny pack. He's like,
it took you a second to figure out what he was doing.
Yeah, I know. I was like, he's like, just pointing at it, fanny pack. So the shit's catching on.
Well, actually, Lance, I'm really glad you brought that story up because I actually feel like I need to apologize. I mean, the whole fanny pack thing, I feel like it's been overblown.
No, totally.
And, I'm actually kind of reconsidering my view on that. I mean, hey, do you mind pulling up this picture that we took yesterday before the ride?
Oh, boy.
So as you see here, I think I'm in favor of you from now on wearing a fanny pack.
I mean,
the space between right here is actually killing me.
I have no.
This is so non-profi.
I'm
not sure if I've ever seen anything like this.
I agree. I don't know.
So I'm going to say fanny pack from now on.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was thinking, and that's fucking embarrassing. Why are you
fanny pack? We got to go fanny pack. I'm just looking out for you.
Hang on a second. Did you take that picture?
I did during your speech, intro on the ride.
As I say every day, one of these days I'm going to have a podcast with my friends. Who would take advantage of a poor old man like that?
I couldn't help myself. It was just a golden opportunity.
What a back to state, and let's talk about something way more important, right? What a stage win by Leonard Kamna. Kid's been attacking, been up there, was close the other day, lost out to Danny Martinez, and boy, he looked good today, right?
Yeah, it was an incredible win. Actually, he won the stage in Dauphiné in Majev, which we know that finished very well, super hard finish, and not very far away from today's stage. So he's having an incredible 2020 season so far.
And yet another young rider, 24 years old. He just turned 24 5-6 days ago.
Right? First German stage win in the last few years. I think we have to go back to 2018.
2018, Degenkolb when he won the Paris-Roubaix stage, which was also a very emotional stage.
Yeah.
Win.
The other thing, speaking of Degenkolb, who's a sprinter, but the thing that I'm just sort of starting to pay attention to is this. We've been following the green jersey competition with Sagan and Sam Bennett, but all of a sudden, Trentin is sneaking in there and getting points. He's in the break, got some points at the intermediate sprint, and then got some points at the finish line. So this may not be a two-man competition.
Not only that, but this is a full-on race going on for this green jersey points. You saw today started with a pretty significant hill right after the rest day. Guys' legs are totally blocked. I can't imagine how hard that start was. So you saw there was it apparently took over an hour for the breakaway to get away.
Ooh.
Trentin has made the breakaway. There's no reason why Sagan shouldn't have made that breakaway. That's perfect for him. A really hard start like that, up and down, he should have been in there. Clearly, he's probably not feeling his best, but the race for the green jersey continues to impress.
Yeah.
I think it's I'm going to jump back just a little bit because you mentioned we haven't had a German winner in a long time. I want to kind of revisit a conversation we had on the show a couple of years ago. This year in the Tour, we've talked about a few Americans that are promising.
Right.
But a couple of years ago, we were talking about how the American stars were in a bit of a slump.
Mm-hmm.
And you also visited the fact that the German programs were in a bit of a slump.
Yep.
And they weren't even airing the races on TV.
They had this they were just such babies about it. The big we're not, this terrible, dirty event, we're not going to, it was not on German TV.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's back on German TV, but
they're really turning things around.
Well, I don't know about that, but
well, it's great to see a German World Tour team in the mix, not only in the mix, but winning one of the hardest stages of the Tour de France yet.
Wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard.
Let's go back. Yeah, it was very hard to make the breakaway, and Lance is right. Once the breakaway was made, the breakaway was going. Once they got 10 minutes, the breakaway goes easy. The field goes easy. There's nobody dangerous in terms of overall riders up in the breakaway, so there's no real reason to go too hard. And you saw they kind of rode tempo on most of those climbs. Everybody sort of just stayed on the wheels, and it was actually an aggressive finish. So Pogačar's clearly feeling good and trying to make time anywhere he can.
The biggest story of the day today, though, it has to be Egan Bernal. He's obviously, his tour is over. This is the defending champion who's just, it looks like a shell of a man. Like he's just, something ain't right. And something ain't right with that team while we're at it.
Well, there's rumblings of the back problems persisting. And then I know a lot of our listeners on YouTube comments were pointing out, hey, did you see what he was doing during COVID? He was putting in a lot of miles.
Right.
Well,
so he may have come in a little overheated.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the back is causing compensation issues where he's having knee issues. So everybody knows if your position isn't right, you start pedaling a little bit different, then other things start hurting. So apparently his knee's hurting now. But like Lance said, we feel like the whole team is off. You have a guy like Carapaz in the breakaway, obviously very aggressive, obviously with clear intent to go for the stage win at the finish, makes the final move, is basically riding over the hill with Leonard Kemna.
Mm-hmm.
He is within sight, within 30 to 50, maybe 100 meters. Not very significant. Leonard goes on to put 25 seconds directly on the downhill and then increases his gap by a minute on Carapaz, the guy who basically dominated the Giro d'Italia last year. There is something off with this team. They aren't firing on all cylinders. There's rumblings of it perhaps, overtraining, probably too much going on before the Tour de France, but something ain't right there.
Make party. I think Bernal was hanging out with Sagan. He make party. Something's not right. I'm with you, bro. Yeah. They just we all know, we've all been there, right? When things start to go poorly and you just want to be done, right? You're just like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, get this tour over with. I want to go home. It's just not going to get any better, right?
I was personally excited knowing the disappointment they must have gone through 2 days ago when Bernal got dropped. Today, whole new day after the rest day. Let's re-envision our goals for the race. 3 guys in the breakaway. with Carapace in there. They're in the perfect position to go for the stage win, and second place is first loser.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
That's not a very nice thing to say. That's the things that I say.
For a team like that it is.
Yeah.
and
accurate.
at the same time, I know you guys pointed out, Jumbo-Visma continues to be strong, because in the first week we were all like, can they keep this up? There's no way. It didn't seem possible, and they seem just as strong as ever.
Will you quit hitting the table? You
I'm
tell
getting
us all-
animated.
You're getting really aggressive, and that's the listener's not gonna like that. By the way, check out. Have you ever? This has to be something George set up. Look at these. So this guy sent us these pens. Look at these pens. It's funny. People send shit all the time, right? I got a baseball bat here. We'll show in a second. But this one, Georgie, they got our picture on this pen.
I've never been on a pen before.
That's amazing, right? It's so funny. This shit just shows up. Speaking of the baseball bat, I got the boom bat right here. Look at this bad boy. And I think we have a slide that somebody rigged up. Is this a Joe Natale slide?
Yeah.
Dear baseball, see you in the douches.
Wow, I love
Sincerely, Lance the Bambino Armstrong with the boom bat. I mean, is that not? It's funny. I mean, oh Lord.
The other thing that surprised us all this morning, and we all woke up, there were 0 COVID positives out of 700 people.
700 tests.
It's remarkable.
0. Yeah, it is remarkable, and it's kind of hard to believe, to be honest. I mean,
Maybe we're seeing a change in momentum. We had a viewing party at the Tour de France where we had about 40 people. Everybody tested, everybody negative.
Yeah, we had this 15-minute test.
Is there hope out there, people?
Or
Please.
maybe
I'm so sick of this COVID shit.
I know. Maybe the tour organizers are going, everyone's okay, and just pushing the test
No,
aside.
I mean,
so they can continue.
certainly you could speculate that, but that's remarkable, right? I mean, and I guess if let's just assume it's true. I mean, it really speaks to the protocols they put in place.
Yeah.
Good. I mean,
I don't think we can skim over what you said about Jumbo. They're still not showing any weaknesses. I mean, after a rest day like yesterday, after they've been doing so much work, anything can happen. They can all just wake up, super blocked or just not ready to race. But they're there controlling the race all the way there to the end. Before the last climb, there was still 6 or 7 of them still there. Where basically Tony Martin and one of the Norwegian guy did most of the work all day, and they just saved their climbers to the last 30, 40 kilometers of the race.
I want to talk about tomorrow, and then I just think we're setting this tour is setting up to be one that's going to be this is going to be a crazy ending. I mean,
coming down to the time trial.
It's going to come. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Today's show also brought to you by Hyper Ice. I have been a huge fan of this company for a long time. I used to just buy their stuff, and then they were generous enough to come on and support our show. This little thing right here, the Hypervolt. I mean, this will change your life. Like this thing, incredible. I also just bought Normatec. George and I have been doing a bunch of Normatec compression stuff, but they've got the vibrating ball. They've got the no jokes. The vibrating foam roller. I mean, they are firing on all cylinders. The Hypervolt right here. This is actually the Hypervolt Plus. Head on over to HyperIce, HYPERICE.com, and use the code HYPETHEMOVE for 10% off. I'm telling you, this will fix you right up. All right, last one of the day, and I don't feel very good today. I am tired. I was tempted to wear these the whole time. I mean, I look so good right now, and I hope for anybody listening to the show, just go look at, I don't know what minute we're in, but go watch on YouTube and just confirm how good I look right now wearing these Roca titanium.
Silver Fox, baby.
The Silver Fox with the silver titanium aviators. Buddy. I mean, even you are looking at me going, holy shit, that guy looks good. But also, they make that's my go-to shade for when I'm out riding or running or even on the golf course. I love all their lenses for golf as well. Started by badass athletes, 4 badass athletes out of the ATX, Austin, Texas. Bunch of guys in the tour wearing it. Head on over to Roca, ROKA.com. 20% off on your first purchase, ROKA.com. The buy code is THEMOVE. And I think I might leave them on. What do we think?
Well, you did just put some lysine in the eye, so you might be
Visine
better.
or lysine?
Lysine, whatever.
Man, you are off today too. What did you do on the rest day, my friend?
I rested. I rode
4 hours,
4
on the
hours
mountain bike.
mountain bike,
Yeah.
and then
paying
rested. Took
for
a
it.
nice nap.
Yeah. Did you tell your
Caught
wife
up with
yet
the
that you
fam.
went out late the other night?
I did not go out. You're too much.
Hey, tomorrow's a big day. This is one of the, there's always a handful of those days that get you excited. If I'm today, Pogačar, you got to start. He's just got to start chipping away, right? He has to.
He's going to keep attacking.
He's going, but he needs to get back. The deficit, in my opinion, he can't close that deficit in the time trial. But not just chip away on the time, but also just get Roglic thinking about it. Make him nervous, man. I wouldn't want to start. I don't care how good Roglic feels. You don't want to start a time trial, even where they're at now. 40 seconds is nothing, right? I mean,
No, it's nothing.
You don't want to. I would be nervous about that. In fact, I've been in that position once. It's not fun, man.
So up until now, sorry, JB, up until now, the only person that has attacked, and we keep saying it over and over again, on the really hard parts of the race is Pogačar. Right now, he's the only one who's attacked. Now, we don't know if Roglic just hasn't felt the need to attack or he hasn't been able to attack, but he's just kind of sitting where he's at.
Right. So the question is, does he, is he nervous about that? I guess we could probably look it up and find out. But I mean, he could also try to get a bigger buffer. But man, it's it's 40 seconds, right? So that's just not a lot.
And only a 36K time trial. So
then comes into the all these questions are going to come up, or what we've talked about and we talked about on the preview show. It's an interesting time trial because it's flat and then there's a climb. So is there a bike change, equipment change, or does somebody select? So there's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? With anything like that.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't just leave out the fact of how strong Jumbo is, and it's not like Pogačar can put his guys up in the second to last climb and drop these guys. There's still going to be 4 or 5 Jumbo guys there till the end of the climb. So right now, the only differences that Pogačar can make are like right before the end, when there's only 10 guys left, and then it's a race. It's basically a mono to mono race, and he hasn't been able to drop Primoz yet. So even though he's going to probably try most likely tomorrow, we haven't seen him drop him yet.
It's a nasty day. I mean, you've got the Col de la Madeleine, which is, how about that accident?
I have nightmares over that climb.
In this climb, I'd have to think about this. I don't think we've ever done this climb. Col de la Loze. I'm working on my French since I got criticized so bad. But look at the end, boys.
Johan would know. We've done it.
Yeah, Johan he'll tell us. But I mean, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what does. I mean, the Madeleine is very hard. It's long, it's steep, it's hard. It just drags on. Then they bomb down, and then they've got this thing, and there's sections of 24%, 18%, right at the end. Not at the start, not in the middle, right at the end.
Yeah.
Which, he's got to be, I don't know.
And I don't know if you've noticed that too. It's not a flat run into the sprint points. Exactly.
Right. Well,
that's a whole nother race going on. That's what's making this race so aggressive and so hard, is that the race to the green jersey is going to come down to the wire. The race to the polka dot jersey, Lance's favorite jersey, is coming down to the wire. In fact, they're tied right now between Pierre Rolland, who's I think has the upper hand. He's already going in. He's going in all the breakaways. He bridged up to the main breakaway of the day today, and the other guy was kind of just swinging from the back.
The best.
Not only those 2 races, of course, the GC battle. But the battle for third place now is becoming a major battle in the race. You saw today Superman Lopez attacking right before the end with a ton of power. Uran kind of swinging in the back of that group. Adam Yates, I thought, looked great as well. I mean, there's still a huge battle for third place as well.
Right. And the best climber in the race was one of the first guys dropped. I mean, it's just amazing. How is that? I mean, the best climber, the guy in the polka dot jersey, is just. Have I mentioned this before? I just don't get it.
And we have not done this finish climb per Johan. He just responded.
Yeah, there's a bunch
of
of climbs in this year's tour that are I've never even heard of these things. I mean, it's interesting. They went out and, there's not the icons, right? There's not the Ventoux and the Alpe d'Huezes, and you've got, but yet, who cares, right? I mean, look at the percentages at the end. It'll be exciting.
Speaking of podium battle, I left out Richie Port. I mean, how good does Richie Port look at the end? Even you mentioned it. He's just right there when Pogačar is going. Richie Port is right behind Primoz. I mean, he looks really solid. He has the experience. He's a bit older rider than the guys that are battling for third. So, and a very, very good time trialist as well. So,
and he could also, I think, he's looking like a guy that one day could win the Ironman for sure.
Several people are asking why you keep referencing Richie Port and Ironman.
Because
Can you revisit
he
that?
grew up a swimmer. Right? He grew up swimming. I think it was one of his first sports. He's a good swimmer. So, I kind of joke about this, but I'm actually serious. Right? If you can swim as good as I've heard he can, and then obviously he can ride a bike like a mofo. He could probably run. He's a little guy. I'm sure he can.
Which apparently he still uses swimming for cross training in the winter. I know our buddy Cameron Worth swims with him when they're in the same cities in the winter. So
Yeah.
I think he still uses that as a form of training during the off season.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I do kid about it, but it would be fun to see. And who knows? He may be like that. That guy's an idiot. I would never do the Ironman or any triathlon. But I don't know. He's got the package.
I do appreciate the shout out for the Louis Vuitton mask or the visor the other day.
Yeah.
I think the guys did a good job in finding me one pretty quickly.
Oh my God! Now, folks, if you are you can't just listen to the show. You have, because just this image alone. Oh my God! And
Louis V, baby.
I'm right. You look so good in that thing. Oh my God.
We haven't seen George's face in a while either.
No.
I think we're going to do it at the end of this week. And
Whoa.
then we were speaking about Hyper Ice earlier. We've all been using this product,
This is
this
going-
company for a long time. This is, I don't know, probably 15, 16 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe less than
Where
that. but
are you?
That's in my old house.
By the way, that's like a movie theater.
Yeah, it's a theater.
You are such a baller.
That used to be my routine.
I mean, who the fuck has a movie theater in their house? Seriously.
My routine would be train all day long, come home, have dinner, and then watch a movie and do the Normatec.
And bubbly water on tap.
I had to take my recovery very serious. I wasn't this crazy like super talent where you can just ride all day long and then just go party to your friends. I had to be very serious about my recovery.
Yeah, like you did the other night. You make party. I'm kidding. Mel, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Predictions for tomorrow?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Roglic. I think he has to make a statement. Part of me thinks that Pogačar's also wants to make a statement, but I'm gonna pick Roglic, and I just hope it's, like I say all the time. I hope it's, the leaders or the favorites are racing for the win, right? It just don't these breakaways, 10 minutes, blah blah. It'd be awesome. It's just that makes the race that much more dynamic. But George,
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Superman Lopez, baby.
Ooh.
wow,
The power he had there at the end of the sprint today was very, very impressive. Astana, they want to get another stage win. If they were able to keep the breakaway within a manageable distance, I wouldn't be surprised if they go to the front and try to go for the win.
And 11 seconds for Lopez gets him in third.
Yeah.
Or tied for third.
And like I said, there's a huge battle for the podium right now.
and Quintana got dropped today.
And Quintana got
So
dropped.
that one day where you said, "There's the podium, baby. There's the podium." So that's out.
That's out.
That's
That's
out,
out. Well,
okay.
he did crash. I couldn't predict the crash, and I think the crash has really affected his form right now.
Got it. JB, we got
Yeah, we
any
do.
stuff from our
Sorry.
posse?
I can't figure out the name on this, but
That's
anyhow,
all right.
I got your comment. It says, "Hey, Lance, JB, and George, love the show. In German, Kuss means kiss. My question: when is the cycling prime age? I always thought late 20s, early 30s, but
Right.
the new generation of Pogačars and Bernals seem to be reaching top level in their early 20s.
Yeah, they're exactly right. I mean, traditional thinking would have you believe that it's late 20s, especially, again, I mean, a young guy. I mean, I won the world championships when I was 21, a young guy. And back then, you could win one-day races or shorter stage races. But for a 3-week grand tour, we've never seen. I mean, you have to go way, way back. I mean, way back to find a winner this young. But I don't know what's up with this whole new generation. Like all these guys, and
They're dominating. The young guys are
I
dominating.
guess we were all wrong. I mean, it's there's no good answer, right? I mean,
From the classics to the grand tours now, the young guys, under 25 years old are winning. We haven't seen that. We weren't seeing that in our generation.
This was another YouTube comment. Do you guys think Kuss will one day lead his own team, and once again, we'll have a Grand Tour de France winner from the U.S.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's a potential winner. He's certainly, because that's a lot. And I only say that because I wouldn't want to put the pressure on him. He's a damn good bike rider, and the answer to the question is yes, he will lead a team. But I'm gonna just say this, and it's all you EF fans out there, don't be hating, but he can't leave. What's going to happen now? He's going to get offered all these big contracts. All this people are going to flash all this money in front of his eyes, and it's easy to leave, right? And you should want to race. You should want to have a big contract to make money. But he has to stay on that team or go to an Ineos or go to a team that can develop him and support him. If I can just see, and I say this because I can see EF, offering him a lot of money as an American and an American team, that'll fuck him up. And I mean it. You just can't. Jonathan Vaughters will ruin this kid. He cannot go there. He's got to. I think he needs to stay there. What do you?
I'm just laughing. I don't know about that, but I do think he's in a great position right now. I like where he's at. I like who he's riding for. I love the experience that he's getting. I mean, he's 26 years old, so he's got plenty of time to get that lead role. So I don't think he needs to rush into it. But yes, an incredible talent.
Look, Roglic is 30, Dumoulin's 30. So and Sepp is 20, just turned 25, I think, during the tour.
26.
So he's got a couple years. I mean, that's probably the best place for him. They have plenty of money. They have a big budget. They could,
Oh, stay put.
Stay put.
Be patient.
I think.
Inherit it.
Yeah.
Earn it. Whatever. Peter writes, and he says, today Andy's referring to Andy Schleck when we had him on. Andy referred to a rider as looking good on the bike. Lance and George have also used that phrase a lot in the past. What are the characteristics of someone who looks good or doesn't look good, for that matter, on the bike? What are you guys looking at?
Well, go ahead. No, you go. This is
generally speaking a very smooth pedal stroke.
Right.
Not rocking all over the bike. But there are riders that are will kind of buck that trend. Like for instance, Ryder Hesjedal. I remember a Sean Yates story. He came up to him in training camp one day, and he's like, Ryder, every pedal stroke you do looks like it's your last pedal stroke. Like you're done. And then Ryder goes on to win the Giro. So, I mean, there's some riders can buck that trend, but generally speaking, just a very smooth, upper body, not moving around too much, not much of a face of pain.
Yeah, and efficiency. I mean, you see a guy who's super efficient, and, it's like they're pedaling with no chain, as we used to say back in the day. By the way, George, since you stopped wearing your headset, a.k.a. the cans, do you realize, because we can really hear everything, you were like, it's like fucking Darth Vader over there. Okay, so.
Hey, we're at 8,000 feet. I got to breathe. I can barely get my.
Hang on, just do me one little favor and you can take them right up. Put those on for just this is what it sounds like. So you either step back from that mic a little bit.
Give me the boomstick. All right. Kidding.
All right, you can have the boomstick. Boomstick coming over.
All right, Jeff writes, you're going to love this one. There should be a senior tour. Bring back all the greats from the 90s.
Well, speaking of that, a good buddy of mine wrote in saying there should be a Silver Fox jersey in the Tour de France. The oldest guy gets to wear the Silver Fox jersey.
Valverde, probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I don't know that I would be much interested. I mean, you would have guys like George who still train like professionals. Mm-hmm. So in order to compete with them, you would have to train as hard. And I just don't have the time or the interest in that. But it could be cool. Maybe, especially the sprints, like fucking throwing like Abdu and Chippo and come on.
I don't see it. I'll tell you why. Because you get this, like the seniors tour, obviously in golf, much different. Tennis, but cycling, one of the main reasons why we stop is because of the danger. I mean, the risk you got to take bombing down these mountains. And yeah, we still ride all the time, but we don't take those risks anymore.
It would be a fun exhibition. Yeah.
I'm still hoping Silver Fox in here and I race at the end of this Tour de France.
Let's see. One last one.
Now that my neck is better.
Yeah. Headley writes, I would love to hear Lance on a 3-hour podcast talking about a riders union, UCI, and how he would do things.
Yes.
It would be very educational.
Yep.
And by the way, great job, guys.
I would love to do that. It's not a bad idea. I could talk about it for 3 hours, like I said the other day. The other thing I forgot to say the other day, and I feel very strongly about this, is all of the grand, at this point in modern cycling, where the sport is today, all of the Grand Tours should be 2 weeks. Right? And so at least for sure the Tour of Spain and the Tour of Italy should be 2 weeks. I would make the argument that they should all be 2 weeks. That way a rider can complete a Grand Slam. It's completely impossible at this point. It's just too hard physically and mentally. But make them all 2 weeks, just in terms of driving interest and storylines for the sport. You could I guess I could be convinced that the Tour could stay 3 weeks. This is not going to happen because none of these races want to take out a week of their revenue. But I think it'd be an amazing story if you could have a rider win a Grand Slam in cycling.
That's a good point, because you've compared it to tennis in the past, but it makes me think of horse racing. As soon as the first race goes off of the Triple Crown, everyone wants to know, can they pull off the next one?
Right.
And then there's more hype for the third one.
Right.
Well, before our Triple Crown would be the Giro Tour and the Worlds. That's kind of more of a realistic thing, but the Giro Tour, Vuelta is, like you said, impossible.
And Giro and Vuelta overlap this year.
Yep.
So
they
people
do?
got to pick.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
it's a mess. If you look at the rest of the calendar, it's crazy.
I'd start paying attention. All right, we got a big one tomorrow. I'm excited, and we'll see what these big guns do. This thing is wrapping up to be awfully exciting all the way down to the wire. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you. See you in the douches.
In douches.